you can hear clearly?
Yes, TJ, I can.
So very quickly, for the purpose of the last speaker, I think some people didn't get my brief on Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. And I want to be very brief in terms of, because I've undertaken to give a report. I appeared in court on the 22nd at Milimani High Court, and the case was coming up for directions. Unfortunately, our lawyers were not available because they had been dragged in to the Gachagua matter. But luckily, His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka and Eugene Wamalwa were able to attend court on behalf of the petitioners for the airport. And during the hearing of the case, the following three things were confirmed. One, that the Law Society case, which comes up on the 25th, continues to enjoy conservatory orders, maintaining the status quo at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, and that the application that will come before the court on the 25th will be an application seeking to increase the bench to 3, and therefore it is unlikely to affect the conservatory orders. And the judge, therefore, on that basis, asked us to come back on the 11th of November 2024, when we will be making a fresh application to have another conservatory order or consolidate the case with the LSK one, so where there is already an existing conservatory order, and we can also do our petition before the 3-bench judge. So in that way, we hit two birds with one stone. And therefore, I'm confirming to Kenyans that the status quo at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport at the moment is that everything is as though Adani had not come. And that is why I wanted to correct the last speaker. The airport is different from what has happened with the Kitrako or what has happened with the SHAF. The health service. And I was trying to explain to earlier listeners that one of the most dangerous things the Ruto regime is doing is to introduce a very little known apparatus in government called PPP, which means that everything they are doing, they do not advertise. They invite a single source and they go and start negotiations, enter a contract. By the time the public know, it's too late to go to court. The luck we have as Kenyans about the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport is many whistleblowers, including Nelson from the Netherlands and the rest, were able to blow the whistle ahead of time. And it has taken me more than 2 months to build a proper petition because of the amount of evidential material that you must put in a petition for it to be successful. Because if you just file a petition that cannot be argued up to the Supreme Court, its chances of survival are gone. What I can guarantee Kenyans is 2 things. Number one, the petition that we have filed is airtight. It is world class. It is a petition that Adani cannot win, as we have filed it. Secondly, Kenyans are unaware that a critical player in helping in this petition and even participating has been the Kenya Aviation Workers Union, who are also parties. We have joined them in the petition as an interested party, and they have appointed one of Kenya's top lawyers, Fred Ngatia, to represent them. So in this petition, the people of Kenya, the people or the workers of the airport, and the petition sponsor myself are all on one corner against the Adani group and the government. And therefore, kwa hali na mali, we are with them, including a strike option. So there are so many things which exist, but they exist because we are going through the legal aid procedure. But on the Adani Jomo Kenyatta Airport, I can confirm that we are ahead of the government strategies. And I can confirm, instead of competing with the LSK, it is better for us to consolidate the matter so we can enjoy the protection of the conservatory orders they already have, as we prosecute now the case on the constitutional questions, which mean there was no public participation, there was no approval of parliament, and so on and so forth. And all those things are contained. Finally, I want to use this forum to thank the Association of Workers of the Airport. I also want to thank Kalonzo Musyoka and Eugene Wamalwa for stepping in. because we were in a really difficult place on the 22nd because the two key lawyers, Degwa Njiru and Kibe Muigai, left me alone and went to the Gachagua case, and we were really exposed. But the court could have easily dismissed our petition for want of prosecution. But Kalonzo is no longer a watermelon. That I asked him about that thing, and he told me that watermelon name came from Raila Odinga, and who is now the watermelon. He tells me, TG, I'm a straightforward guy. Anyway, he showed up in court. Anthony?
TG, thank you. I think for the sake of the listeners who are not here, let me just give you a chronological event of what happened. So in the morning, Tony Gashoka sent me the letter saying that we don't have lawyers. And we were like, okay, so who else is mentioned? Who else can represent us? And that's how Kalonzo Musyoka and Eugene Wamala came up. So at 9:50 thereabout is when Tony asked Kalonzo, we're in court today and we don't have lawyers. And Kalonzo was like, okay, I've not practiced for some time, but I'll go to court. So when we say he saved the day, that was how that day was saved. He was in court, and that really saved the case. So that's a part that I felt people needed to know. That's how we ended up with Kalonzo and Eugene representing us and actually making our case hard on that day in terms of the judge telling them what the next step will be. But on the other hand, we are in talks with another legal team that is coming in, and we shall be briefing you once we have all that settled. But they will use the same material that we had already filed. So, Daniel, just before Daniel comes in, the previous speaker, Isaac, said about what he's talked about, the 7-year term limit, and how Kenyans need to file their petition against that particular motion in Parliament. One of the things I'm noticing going forward, TG, and this is my last point, is that most Kenyans don't know how to. So they need like a template. So for us to be able to be solving problems on our spaces is a few of you can come up with a template. I will not say one person. We need like several templates. So that now when you're telling Kenyans this is how you can show that you don't support a particular bill, use this template. Now, one person can be, or we can use the email
Tony,
and all that is
Tony, I'm not interrupting you, but I want to come with a solution on this term limit issue. I wanted to suggest if we can have, I can see Murray Box is on and so on. I need somebody to help me with this. If we can have a petition, because anything you do in the Senate, in my view, is a nullity because the Senate the numbers are all with these people. I'm not saying don't go ahead and send all those things, but we need a plan B. And like we did with the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, what I was thinking, if somebody could draft a petition so that I can be able to put an online petition, I can help to improve it. But if we could do a petition, then I would want to go back to Kalonzo and I would want to ask him, you know now where these matters are reaching, we are reaching a point where all hands have to be on deck. And I would like to undertake that on the issue of extension of parliament, although I'm really exhausted on the Jomo Kenyatta International one, I'm prepared to launch a second petition on this matter at the High Court. A lot of work will need to go on it, and I don't want to hog the space because I want to hear other speakers. But in terms of offering a solution, there can be no solution in Ruto's Senate or in Ruto's Parliament. We must fight this thing in the public like the way we've done JKIA, to the point that I'm a Ogopa. I can tell you, even the lawyers of government who come to the court like on 22nd, when they come, they see Tony Gashoka, they see Wamalwa, they see Kalonzo, even the judge is scared. Because they have been dealing with lightweights, and this is one of the things with these abductions and Ruto's impunity is because we have not been calling on some experience. We need to change our strategy. Our country is disappearing as people knock and bang their chests. This is a time to call the old and the wise to join with the young and the agile so that we can be able for the first time to look, and Ruto can see Kalonzo is my equal. So when he sees Kalonzo on a matter like Adani, he's not looking at it as though he's just looking at nobody. So I would rather, and I'm seeing Kenyans are beginning to change their mind. about the need to come together. Because if we don't, we are going to lose everything. These guys in parliament, they remove Gachagua in 2 days. Are you thinking they will not extend their term of 7 years? They will extend it as we are here arguing. But if you give me a petition, I can ring Kalonzo and I can tell him, can we bang this petition in the High Court? Go ahead, Tony.
Tony, sorry to interrupt. I think if you go on Jkia Omtata's timeline, he has a really, really good petition. Actually, that's what I used. He has a great template. So you might just want to look at it if it can be edited, or if you can use it as a way to create an online platform where everyone can, something that is accessible to every Kenyan, because that's what you're lacking. I think that will be a great study.
If you DM me, so because I've been because just of the volume of work on the Jomo, if you can DM me and I send you my number, or Tony Mureithi, just send
that right away.
Yeah, please do it right away. And in fact, all I want to do is if we can, in fact, I saw Charlo the Wakili was here and he disappeared because he was telling me that he could draft me even a draft petition. Because I can give it to the senior lawyers to improve it, but I don't have enough knowledge of, we need to construct something. So if we start a petition that we can put online, then on the basis of that and an affidavit, I can get a law firm to put a petition and have it by Tuesday next week in the High Court. And that's like we did, so that we have 2 avenues of fighting. We go to the Constitutional Court and call it unconstitutional for want of public participation. But I need people to help me with the work. So anyone who can offer, including the last speaker, please DM me or Tony Mureithi, and I move very quickly so we can help each other.
Tony, morning. Sorry, it's morning here. I was just waking up, and I've been trying to follow the cases, and I followed the previous one and now this one, and I'm sorry to hear about what happened with Ndegwa and Kibe. But I'm pretty sure we'll come up with something. I appreciate your effort. I see Nelson is here. I also appreciate his effort. I appreciate everybody's effort. Everybody, let's all do our part. If you have a way you can help in this, let's do it. Let's not just talk and not be of action. So I'm so happy to see that we're actually fighting this Adani thing, because I believe it's despicable that this government can make us look like a bunch of idiots that need people to come and run our country for us. We're not going to accept this. This is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. I live in the U.S. and Kenyans run almost, we come here, we take over, we run. What do they mean we cannot run our airport? No, we let's keep fighting, and we're here to support you, Tony, and your team, and we appreciate every single effort you and your team are putting in and sacrificing your time, because this is what we need at the moment, and this needs to be teamwork. It needs to be teamwork. Everybody here can help with this. We have something we can do, and you need to find out what you can do. That is all. That's all I was going to say at this moment before we start.
Yeah, and where do you can see Nelson. Tony, can you see Nelson? I had wanted him also to come on.
No, Gigi, I can't see him. But if Vero can see him, you can send him the mic.
Yeah, I just sent him the mic. But we do need to
give him another thing I wanted to explain. If you look at my timeline, you will see the letter. I don't know if you understood when I was briefing everybody what shocked us on the 22nd. And I just wanted to show you how the politicians are selfish. Gachagua's case was coming up, and the lawyers who are handling the matter on our behalf wrote a letter to the Deputy Registrar of the High Court to say they can't be available on the 22nd, and went and joined the Gachagua case. It was shocking. But I got Mheshimiwa to come as an emergency because the matter was at 11, and we were able to preserve, and I explained that we are working together with the Law Society because they already have conservatory orders, and we have been given a date of the 11th of November, but I have no longer any more concerns because our court acknowledged the orders of the LSK will remain, and therefore they will be enforced before we make our application for consolidation, so that we don't need duplication of conservatory orders.
I really apologize for this. So I gave Nelson the mic. At the moment, I know we had other speakers lined up, but if you could just bear with us briefly. Nelson, please go ahead. And if you have something you want to say in addition to what they're talking about, go ahead. It doesn't look like Nelson can hear me. So Josephine.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, Tony, and Anthony as well. And good evening, fellow Kenyans. Good morning and good afternoon, wherever you are from your timelines. Yeah, thank you so much, TG, for the good job that you are doing. We really appreciate. And I really appreciate at least what you are doing. It's a great thing that I can say. I know somebody can get to a panic mode, especially when you realize that you're in court and you do not have a lawyer and you don't know how to go about it. But one thing I can certify is that anytime you have a shortcoming of a lawyer and you realize that you don't have anyone to have a rescue, always respond to your case, because we always have that opportunity, and I've done that severally, and I've won at least around 9 cases against the government. That's as an individual without a lawyer. So I know it's done, it's doable. It's only that when you are not prepared, it can hold you by a shock. But take courage. Next time, just be composed, be ready, know your case, and whenever you realize that you are disappointed with the lawyers, just appear in person. Let the court know that they need to give you time, and that's the position as at that particular moment. You choose whether you are going to represent yourself or you get another lawyer. That always the court does listen, and that does give you that opportunity to do what is needful, as long as the case has not recurrently repeated or been adjourned severally, more than 3 times, and also it being on your side, because it could have been adjourned more than 3 times, but it's on your opponent's side. Then that does not affect you as well. So thank you so much for.
Josephine, it's okay, but I don't want to overspeak on this matter. But take it from me when I say it was a serious problem. Let's leave it there, because it was a really serious problem, because the conservatory orders are the only things that can preserve JKIA. Adani and the government want to move in yesterday, and the LSK matter is coming for a ruling. And the moment their conservatory orders expire, the country is exposed. And therefore, that was necessary to be done. But I'm saying there was no problem, because it's not that I panicked. It's that I was able to call Kalonzo and Eugene, and they were able to do their work. It's just the misconduct of lawyers. And I don't want to go beyond that, because I published the letters on my timeline of how they behaved. And as Tony has told you, we are going to change our lawyers. Go ahead, Tony, or Mweru.
Yeah, thank you, Josephine, for your contribution. I mean, this is my request for everybody that.
That was my first point. Yeah, I was just saying that it's doable. So thank you so much for the good job. However, again, we need to ask ourselves as Kenyans, if the government is giving out everything to other private sectors to actually own our country and even our parastatals, then why are they collecting taxes from us? So we need to see there are so many loopholes in our country, and there are many things that we need to do. However, I'll be also joining you, Anthony. I will see whether I can manage to do something, and then we'll be joining together also in the same petition. I really appreciate. I'm committed to that, and I'm still working on the document. Once it's ready, I'll also be joining you. Thank you so much, and may God bless you for the good job you are doing for our country. Fellow Kenyans, let's stand up for our nation. Let everybody know that we are getting into shit, and we should not allow this to happen to us. Keep on asking yourself several questions, and what can you do? Do the little that you think you can do. Even that what you think you cannot do, you can do it once it's joined with another idea from another person, and we can all succeed. Wherever there is a will, there is a way. That's what I can say. Otherwise, thank you so much, Tony. and for the good job. We really appreciate. Tell Kalonzo Musyoka and Wamano, we really owe them a high esteem for also accepting to take up the matter without preparation. We are really grateful as Kenyans. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Josephine. I mean, that is what I was going to request everybody on the space. Whatever little you can do, please join the team and help us fight for our airport. Even if you have any legal expertise, even if you're good with investigating, you're good with typing, whatever you're good in, analyzing documents, everybody's efforts need to be on board in this. So, I mean, Nelson, if you have something to say, please go ahead. Otherwise, I'll have Marabou, then Nothing, KE, and then Daniel.